Good evening, everyone. It's June 13th, 2016, and this is the regular meeting of the Board of Education. I'm going to ask everybody to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, well, we just had a wonderful awards ceremony, the board recognition night, where we were able to recognize the academic and athletic achievements of our kids from K through 12, and it's always a great activity, and hope that folks in the future will join us for those meetings. This is the last meeting of the academic year. There will be, our first meeting is going to be on July 7th, which is the reorganization meeting, so even though it's the last meeting, we'll be back. All right, so we're going to start off with the agenda for today. We're going to start off with comments by board members. Henry, would you like to start off?
Nothing from me.
Okay. Michelle?
Sure. Again, Julio just said that we just left board recognition, and I was actually jotting down a couple little notes during that. Tonight will be the last meeting for our two board members, Kathy Reichelt and Dr. Arbina, and I just really, Mr. Carl Albano really said everything so well. I think really highlighted both of them and their, really what their values were and what they were looking to accomplish here, and they both really worked so hard. And I just thought sort of the irony that we just had board recognition, and that was something that started 5 years ago. We didn't even have that before, and some of the things that were highlighted tonight were all things that just 6 years ago did not even exist. So a couple of them, increased extracurricular, and not only to increase our extracurricular with like Habitat for Humanity, but then to be receiving recognition for those things. That our high school is in its 4th year of receiving reward school. And these were all things that Julio had brought to the board, things that he had been seeking to do, and to have these accomplishments all be said tonight, I just think is so ironic. So many, the strings program, did not even have a strings program here. Tonight we have a student being recognized. She's received a scholarship to study with Juilliard. So these are not just enhancements that were brought here, but that have succeeded and have done so well, and that's really due to the hard work of both of you. I really want to thank you both for all of your work. When Carl said, it's really to me also, to your families for letting you serve with us. Time here is time away from your family and from your work, so thank you both for all that you have done. The other thing I just wanted to recognize, we did announce at the last meeting that Henry will be leaving the board, and that we are seeking a new board, no pressure, but a new board member. And I just want to reiterate the dates that were set at the last meeting. Resumes are due by July 16th. That's this Thursday at 4 p.m. June 16th. Oh, June 16th. Good, thank you. June 16th, that's this Thursday at 4 p.m. in the district clerk's office. And the other thing is that I did say at the last meeting that the term would be till June 30th. The term actually will expire on May 16th of 2017. So those are just the two things I wanted to put out there. Resumes are due by this Thursday at 4 o'clock. Anyone who's interested, please get your resumes into the district clerk. And that's all I have.
All right, thank you. Kathy?
I just want to say welcome, everybody. It's a packed room here, so I get a little nervous when I speak. I want to say happy end of the year for our teachers, our administrators, and our students. I know I have one high schooler who is very happy that he's only in school half a day right now, and I have a middle schooler who is studying for his exams, and this is his first time. He's a 6th grader, so he's very nervous, but we just told him he's going to do well. Just do the best you can. I also want to say congratulations to all our students, pre-K through 12. We just came back from board recognition. It's wonderful to see those students who just strive a little bit harder, but we know that all our students can be up there. And I want to thank everybody. I want to thank the Tuckahoe community that 3 years ago I was elected to this board. I hope that I have made some positiveness. It is a lot of work. I was glad to be part of it. I thank those that were here before me, Jim Lombardo, Anthony, can't think of his last name right now. Bonacore, thank you. Michelle, Julio, Steve, and definitely Henry. It's been great working with all of you guys. I hope to still be very involved in the community, being that I still have 2 more children here. And I do hope that I come to the board meetings to bring some positiveness and complain if I need to complain. It seems like people get off the board and they don't come at all. They sort of like fall off. So I hope not to be that person. And I do welcome the 2 new board members, Daj and Robert. And if you guys need anything, please, you can pick up my head. So I thank everybody. Thank you.
Great,
And
thank
the
you, Kathy.
administrators, please. Thank you.
Okay. Stephen?
I wanted to first wish all the kids good luck. We got finals coming up, and I know it's a nervous time. It's nervous in my household, that's for sure. But just work hard. You're going to do your best. You've worked hard all year to get to this point. So let's just show everybody how good you've done over the course of the year. Congratulations to all the graduates. I mean, we have a bunch of graduations, which are great, from pre-K all the way on up to high school. You guys earned this day, so enjoy it. A couple of things. I was very lucky to attend the National Junior Honor Society, and I believe, Mrs. D is going to kill me, but I think there was like 31 kids or so that got elected into the National Honor Society, Junior National Honor Society, and to hear their wishes for the future. I did this last year and again this year. It's always great to hear what these kids want to do and what they want to accomplish, and they've worked so hard to get to that point. So congratulations to those families and everybody who was elected into the National Junior Honor Society. I went to the high school awards ceremony. It's the second time I've been to that, as I have little guys in middle school right now. And the academic achievements that those kids put up is quite impressive. And to see multiple kids win more than one award really speaks volumes for what they do. And I think the thing that I was really touched by was the embraces that they gave their teachers. You know, they shared those awards with the teachers, and the teachers really worked hard to get those kids to the point where they were able to achieve those awards. So congratulations not only to the kids that won, but to the teachers for guiding them that way. And then lastly, Kathy, just a couple of words about you. I didn't know Kathy very well before I joined the board, but it was immediately impressed upon me about how much you care about kids. And I think for the reality is, for all of us that serve on the board, the first thing that comes first, upmost, is our kids. Every decision that I make, I'm always thinking about what is this and how does it affect our children in the community. And I can tell you, for those that don't know Kathy, like I didn't know before I came on the board, there was never any doubt in my mind that every decision that you would make would always be thinking about the kids. I know you love these kids, and you know, your profession dictates that. And we'll miss your caring and your constant thinking about what's best for the children of this district. And I do hope that you come back and guide us in the right direction if maybe we're not thinking about the kids all the time. So thank you. Julio, quite honestly, you were the mentor to me as I came onto this board. Your guidance to me and to other members of this board has always been evident, whether it was a new member or somebody who was here. You have always taken a leadership role in any decision that we've had to make, and you've always held yourself accountable for the decisions that the board made as a whole. And I could tell you right now, I've been so impressed with you. I tried talking you out. No offense to Robert and Dodge. I tried to talk him out multiple times about not leaving because this district will be at a loss without Julio at the helm. I know sometimes you've made decisions that haven't been popular, and that's part of being a board member. Sometimes you just can't make everybody happy, but you take the information that you have and you make the best decisions that you think, so that when you go to bed at night, you can put your head on the pillow and know that you've made the right decisions. And your rigor for this board and for not only the administrators and the teachers, but especially the board members, you've always held us to a very high standard that we always do things and make decisions based on the best information that we have. And at the end of the day, I know that you did it with the love of this community, the community members, the kids, the administrators, everybody that touches this community. Julio always kept them in high regard and always made decisions based on what he felt, how it would affect those communities. So I thank you. And I know my kids are in a better position today because of the service that you've given this school and this board. So I wish you luck, and I hope to see you around, and I know I will see you around. But thank you for all you've done.
Great, thank you. I'm going to reserve some comments for the end of the meeting, if I may, but, I just wanted to thank everybody for the support, both on the board and also in the community. Folks are like, wow, you've accomplished so much, and we've accomplished so much because, there's no one board member here, that had the magic wand and said, we're going to, be ranked for the top 4% of high schools in the country. It was all a collective effort. And I think that the formula was relatively simple. We as a board and we as a community made sure that we gave our faculty, our administrators, and our staff the tools they needed to succeed. And I think that was lacking. And whether it be professional development or, smart boards or, whatever it was, we were able to work with the community to ensure that we got the tools that folks needed to succeed. Now, some folks, you give them the tools, they still don't succeed, but, we can work with those folks. I'm really I'm proud that we've been able to honor our commitment to maintain the arts. And not only, if you recall, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, it was a really tough economic time that this country was experiencing. And you've all heard about how school districts were getting rid of the arts. They were getting rid of physical education. And we made a commitment many years ago that we were going to maintain the arts in our school district, but not only did we maintain it, but we've also grown it, thanks to the leadership of our administrators. We have a strings program, and the work that our music and our chorus teacher has done to expand the number of kids, that are, participating in the arts is wonderful. And I'm sure, everybody has seen the research and knows the impact that the arts have, on kids' academic achievement across the board. Again, we're very proud of that. But we still have work to do. I think that certainly one of the things that Michelle and I have been striving for is equitable treatment and access and fairness, and I think we're there. We're getting there. The field isn't 100% leveled yet, and I don't think it'll ever will be because of forces outside of our control. But we're continuing to work hard, towards to ensuring that every kid in this district gets a fair shake in succeeding, and and I'm hopeful that I'll be able to help in that capacity. Perhaps less as a gadfly, but more as a somebody who can bring in and learn from other districts, and replicate some of those programs here. But again, as Michelle mentioned, I think over the last few years, this is the first time that school districts are coming to us to learn about our successes, and I think that's something that the entire community needs to be proud about. So thanks again for all of your support. Dr. Wilson.
Well, Leo, I won't speak long because I know I've got about a half an hour report to do at the end of this. Just kidding, 20 minutes, 15 minutes. But what I will say seriously, and just to repeat something I said upstairs, I've been served as a superintendent in different places for a total of about 18 years, and I've worked with a lot of different board presidents, and they don't come any better than you do. I'm just going to say that as a fact. And Kathy, just a superb, dedicated board member, and I think Stephen summed you up when he talked about your dedication to the kids. I know that's what it's been about as far as where you're coming from, and you've been a great member. And Henry, not to be lost here, you had a splendid year. You worked more, you went to more things in a year than most people do in a 3-year term, so you did a great job too. But anyhow, I do think it's true that quite often people don't understand the work of a board, and when things go wrong, boy, the board members hear about it. And you get the blame, you seldom get the credit, but I think this board has a lot to take the credit for, and I congratulate you on your services. A great contribution that you've made, Kathy and Julio.
Is that it?
Oh, that's it.
Oh, I was waiting for the next 20 minutes.
No, I've got this report I want to get to later on.
Oh, okay. All right. Carl?
Okay, well, I want to be repetitive. It looks like we have the same audience, but again, Kathy, Julio, and Henry as well. We decided to recognize our board members in front of the audience, and I think that was important for our best and our brightest, our young students, to see examples and role models of community service, okay? Because it's not just about what you do here in this forum, but what you do throughout the community, and you can't ask for 3 better role models than our outgoing board members, and I do appreciate that. And the other thing I need to say to Julio and Kathy, You've helped me to become a better administrator. There is no question. You gave us the tools, the resources, the support. You set the bar high. And for me, and I know I speak on behalf of the other administrators as well, I thank you. I sincerely thank you.
Welcome.
We're on the right trajectory.
Yep.
There is no question. You'll be proud of us, and please stay involved.
We will.
Kathy, if there's anyone speeding, I want you at that podium.
Great.
A few quick updates, just the community, I've talked about this before, we are opening a new autistic program. We're very excited at our elementary school. That will open up in September. We are in the final stages of interviewing candidates, but it's exciting because we have 3 students, Tuckahoe students. We actually have a referral from a neighboring district, so there'll be at least 3, potentially 4 at Cottle. The staff is hard at work. There's a lot of summer planning, but that is something new on the horizon, and Dr. McDonald will be running with it after I get the wheels in motion for that program. Also, there are 2 summer programs, one at the middle school, one at the high school. Dr. Bean, I said earlier, was really responsible. It was his idea for the middle school program. It's called Summer Scholars, and it's an enrichment program. It's not a punitive thing. It's not a punishment. It's to enrich our students' experience and help them maintain over the summer and have some great experience. This year, I think we're enhancing it with some trips to cultural experiences and educational experiences. And then I need to thank our Reverend Gerald, who is a parent as well as a community leader. He brought us a grant opportunity, and he presented it to Dr. Wilson, myself, Dr. Linehan, where at the high school level we have an opportunity for 20 students, free of charge, to participate in a similar summer program as to the middle school. And we're excited, and we're trying to get that off the ground this upcoming week. Also, if you have any questions about summer programs, I encourage you, please, the full guidance counselor staff and the psychologist are in, so don't hesitate to reach out to them if you have any questions about the summer and/or September. And that's all for this evening.
Great, thank you. Okay. Excuse me. We're going to, well, on the agenda would be comments from the school business administrator, but Mr. Reese is not going to be joining us this evening, but I know he's not here and he won't hear it, but I think it's still important to recognize the service that he's given this community over the last couple of years. You know, he served as a school business official, and I think from what I've heard and certainly from what I've seen, that school business official becomes the right-hand person, you know, for the superintendent, and certainly appropriate allocation of resources is something that leads to the success, you know, of our school district and allows us to meet its mission. And Mr. Reese over the last couple of years has been, you know, just a true professional and has really helped this district to get into an even stronger, you know, financial well-being. So we appreciate, you know, that service from Mr. Reese. So next is, now, did you want to do your report, or are we going to wait till after?
I think most people here probably.
Okay, all right, so we can follow up that later on
Do
then.
that later on.
Okay, so I'll invite the PTA to come up if they've got any comments or announcements, or?
Danielle Nealis, PTA President. Good evening. That's the last time I'll be able to say that officially, as my term is up. I want to thank all of you for your support over the past 2 years, and the community and all the volunteers that make the PTA what it is. We are unbelievably successful in all the endeavors we bring to the children, and we hope to continue to do so. We've most recently held Taste of Tuckahoe. We had the Spring Social. Field Day was great for the kids the other day. They had a beautiful day for it. It was wonderful. And in a few short days, we'll be awarding 6 scholarships to seniors. So thank you again. Thank you for your service, Julio, Kathy, Henry, and Dr. Wilson especially. Thank you for all you've done for our district.
Thank you. Is anyone from the Tuckahoe School Foundation here?
Okay, I'm here from the Tuckahoe School Foundation. We want to say that our Family Fun Night last Monday was a huge success. Thank you to all the families who came out. We hope you enjoyed your evening as much as we did. We would like to let the community know that we're still selling graduation signs, so if you are interested, please contact the Tuckahoe School Foundation at tuckahoeschoolfoundation@gmail.com if you would like to get a sign to show off that you have a graduating Cottle student, middle school student, or high school student. I'm also here to recruit some help for the foundation. We are dwindling in our numbers on our committee and our board. So if you are at all interested in joining the foundation, we'd love to have you on board. It's one meeting a month, and we run a casino night. We run family fun night. We also will be awarding high school seniors some scholarships in the next couple of weeks. And we also do teacher grants. So if you're interested, please also, again, contact Tuckahoe School Foundation at gmail.com. And we'd love to have some more members. Thank you.
Great, thanks. I just have to, I purchased one of those graduation signs. I'm a big fan of Friday Night Lights, if you've ever seen that show. And I've noticed that they always have like, this is the football player and here's the quarterback lives at this home. And I had always wondered, it's like, oh, we should have signs like that for, people who are doing great in academics too. And so I was really, I really welcomed the opportunity to have a sign on my lawn saying that my son is graduating, from Tuckahoe this year. And it was, it got the neighbors out also, like, oh, where he's going to school. And so it was a great idea. And, thank you for having that out there. Okay, we're now going to go to the first recognition of the audience. Now there are two points in the meeting where we do have an opportunity to recognize the audience and to address the board. Excuse me, the first one is limited to agenda items only. So if you'd like to come up to the podium, please state your name and address for the record, and let us know what you're thinking about.
Okay, Tara Galati, 97 Middle Road. So I'm here on behalf of Middle Road community members to find out more about the policy of the use of the turf. It seems as though it's on the agenda for old business, and we were under the understanding that it would already be at a second reading, and we would be putting this policy to fruition. So I guess I'm asking a question. It's on the agenda for the next item. So if you can kind of fill us in as to what's happening, that'd be great.
Yeah, I'll start off, and then everybody else can kind of chime in if that's okay. So we actually had a special meeting of the board. Was it last week or
Last Monday.
Last Monday. And so we did do a second reading of the policy, but we also noted that there were a number of questions that we amongst the board had, about, what we were originally proposing. And so we decided that instead of coming to this meeting and saying this is the third, reading of the policy and that we're going to vote on it to adopt it, that we would give it a little bit more time, to get more input from the community. So that's kind of where we're at.
Okay. So then when will it become a policy?
Well,
The only thing I would
Then
add,
what's the holdup?
the only thing I would add is that the board raised a number of questions, and I have answers to those questions.
Okay.
And I don't know if Sally is Sally here? Oh, terrific, you're here, first time. We've talked on the phone, and I never saw you before.
Do
Oh.
you want me to
You,
go out? I mean,
yeah, well, why don't you talk about from the town's point of view? The questions that the board had were pertaining to what commitments were made on the weekends to community organizations or others to use the field, because before they set in stone, set a policy at a certain time of the day, then to come to find out that they were, therefore going to eliminate some important program if we could work around it or work with the
Okay.
town.
So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Sally Valtiti. I'm the superintendent of Parks and Recreation for the town of Eastchester, Eastchester resident. And Dr. Wilson had given me a call today, and I have heard about this situation before. The team that comes to Tuckahoe High School turf field in both the fall and the spring, the group is the Eastchester Youth Soccer Association. I worked here previously and came back in the position I'm in now in 2011. The way that the Eastchester Youth Soccer Association and all of the organizations that are town-recognized organizations, TYA, Little League, Eastchester Youth Soccer, Eastchester Blue Devils, amongst a bunch of others, the way that we've come up with something is we have a sports council. So anyone's a town-recognized organization comes to me. So basically, I'm the middleman, so please don't ever eliminate the middleman, because I won't have a job, but basically everyone, and Tuckahoe High School, because Tuckahoe High School uses Parkway Oval, Lake Isle Country Club, Leewood Tennis Court. So what happens is all the athletic directors and all the league presidents come to me and tell me what they'd like to use each year, based on what schools and what fields have rules on when you can go on them, is based on when it's used and based on who else uses it. So for example, Eastchester Youth Soccer has the most members in all of the organizations in town. So they have about 1,500 members, Eastchester, Tuckahoe, and Bronxville. They also have used the most gridiron field. So they don't use a baseball field. So they use Bronxville High School field, Eastchester High School field, Handle Field, the outfield of Parkway Oval, Tuckahoe High School field, Dunwoody. I don't know if you've ever been down there. They have 3 games going on at a time. So depending on when their field is located is depending on when the time starts. For example, if, Parkway Oval, they usually don't start until 12, but they have started a little bit earlier. In residential areas such as Dunwoody, if you've been over to Dunwoody, the field is here and then the house is here. So they had a time starting at 12 o'clock, and they've asked to move it to 11 a.m. on Sundays, so now they start at 11 a.m. on Sundays. The reason for the move from 12 to 11 is because they used to go from 12 to about 7, and it was found that if they started at 11, they would be done by dinner. So when you were having dinner at your house, you didn't have the noise outside. So over the time, most of the times the leagues have come accustomed to starting at 12 o'clock on Sundays. Some fields, Labriola is run by TYA, they take care of it themselves. Garth Road is run by Eastchester Little League, they take care of it themselves. They go on the field, they take care of it. We kind of adhere to some of it. I know at Labriola, I think on Sundays, and I could be correct if I was wrong, there's a program in conjunction with Southeast Consortium. It's a wonderful program. The league itself doesn't start until a little bit later, and choose there. Garth Road usually starts a little bit later on Sundays. I think for the past few years, Eastchester Youth Soccer's permit on Sundays in the fall and in the spring has been given out usually after 12 o'clock. There's many reasons for that. One, the spring's a little bit lighter on the Sundays. The other reason in the fall is because of Tuckahoe Youth Football. So this year, after I talked to Dr. Wilson today, I went back and looked at the permit from September of 2015 for the fall of 2015. And Eastchester Youth Soccer's permit was from 1:30 to 8:30 on Sundays. They went after whatever other programs were on the field. So that's what Eastchester Youth Soccer comes on. I do feel I need to clarify something that I feel might have sparked. I don't want to say sparked this because obviously people live in Middle Tower and I have spoken to each other before. She has lived there since before January, and I'm sure everyone has. So it's not that it happened just this March, but I feel that one incident that occurred in March, I need to bring just to the attention of what happened from our standpoint and from just it's public knowledge, so, or able to be found publicly. March 4th and 5th or 5th and 6th was the first weekend in March. So basically, there still could have been snow on the ground, but there wasn't any snow ever. So the Manhattan Kickoff Soccer Tournament, which is a non-for-profit organization that is not a town-recognized organization. It is not an organization that has Eastchester, Tuckahoe, or Bronxville students, players, adults. It's not an organization that I even know of unless they had come to me to ask to use the field. They asked to use our Handle field. They asked to use Eastchester. They did not get approved. They were approved to use it here in Tuckahoe. I don't know what the policies are. It was approved by the school, put in the school dude system, which is the system that I go through after I get approved, and it was approved to start at 8 a.m. So if you have an 8 a.m. game, you're not coming at 8 a.m. You have to stretch, you have to get on the field, you have to get water, you have to line up, you have to get, coach has to do the speech. So what I think happened in that March time is that people came to the field at like 7:15, got on the field, and then were on the field all day Saturday and all day Sunday from 7:15 a.m. to 6 o'clock at night, whenever it was in March. And I think that might have started a situation here that made it seem like people like Eastchester Youth Soccer or soccer was always on the field. If that's not the case, I'm sorry. I did hear about that weekend.
I got many phone calls about that weekend in my office saying, how can you put Eastchester Youth Soccer on the field at 8 o'clock in the morning? That had nothing to do with us.
Sally, can I just
Yeah.
point out here, because I think it's important, now you're pointing out that you, of course, when we're most concerned about our interest is
Yes.
our student athletes.
Correct.
Beyond that, of course, we're interested in our town activities, in the case of Eastchester football and so on. We try to accommodate. But as you're describing it, it's not the local community that's the problem. I think where we get into a fix, and the example you gave, is that we, the district, opted at that time to allow for payment to the district. Frankly, it was rented out. A group that came in, it was an entire weekend of nonstop playoffs that this league had. And of course, in retrospect, that's something we wouldn't want to do again and would be under no obligation to do. So that, I think, is the kind of thing we want to avoid.
Right, and I do know because I have come to the field on a Saturday or Sunday, and I have also come to the high school gym during Eastchester Instructional Basketball League. So I have myself parked on Middle Road. Now, do I follow rules better than maybe some people? Like, don't park in front of someone's driveway, don't park in a handicap, don't leave my car running. Yes, but, this is my job full-time, so that might be why. I do know that traditionally, since 2008, or since 2011, since I've been back, Eastchester Youth Soccer, besides this spring, traditionally has been given the permit from about 12 o'clock on. That's how they know to schedule their games. Their permits in the past had said 1:30 for this past fall. So that's if that's what you're deciding, they'll abide by it. They're obviously Eastchester Youth Soccer, and any organization that comes on the field that's not a Tuckahoe High School, Tuckahoe Middle School, or Cottle team that comes on the field, we're guests. So, Eastchester Youth Soccer is a privately run organization. They're very happy to get any time that they can get anywhere. They are a growing organization. If, they are accustomed to getting on the field about 12, and this past fall it was 1:30. So this past spring, it was given out at 9 a.m. and they took advantage of it. So if that is something that Eastchester Youth Soccer can no longer do because the policy is going to push them back, they lucked out for the last 6 months, and moving forward, they're going to adhere to the policy. Do I think that they were happy that they got the time at 9 a.m.? Yes. Do I think that they'll be losing 3 hours every Sunday? Yes, they will be. I think Julio's children did play soccer, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah, so he does know that there's so many so many kids and not enough fields. And when Eastchester High School's turf went down, they rented at Ursuline, they rented at Tibbetts. So we do have 2 Eastchester Youth Soccer teams playing at a non-resident location. They have had to rent fields. But if they have to go back to the 12 o'clock start, then if that's what they're decided, that, they benefited for the last 6 months from having it at 9 a.m. and moving forward, if that's what the board decides for whatever reason, then they will have to adhere to going back to 12
So I just want to clarify one thing, because when you mentioned that, I got a couple of stares.
Okay.
I had nothing to do
No, he doesn't.
with
No, he doesn't.
scheduling anything
No.
or anyone,
No,
regardless of what sports my kids play.
Yes, Dr. Avina doesn't have any control. I just know that his son and daughter does play, just because I've worked, I've seen them play, and they've gone to camp, so I know who they are.
okay.
So, but I do know that, I'm sure you've seen, if you live on Middle, even during Eastchester Instructional Basketball League, one thing we try to say, which I wish people would adhere to more, please park in the parking lot. Please enter on a certain side of the road. We could say it 100 times. I could say it once. If I said it once, I've said it 1,000,000 times. It might work for a week. I mean, I don't know if maybe we need to get maybe the Eastchester Police a
Yeah,
little
so
bit more
I was
involved.
actually going to suggest that maybe we should go, and Michelle, maybe you could help us with your affiliations with the town. Can we legally say during a sporting event at the high school field, they are not allowed to park on Middle, they'll be ticketed, and that forces them into the parking lot or in front of Cottle where there are no homes? So if they're overflow parking, and I think there's like 80 spots in our parking lot.
Right.
So I can't imagine that a soccer game couldn't support all those cars in the parking lot, because if I lived on Middle, I'd be annoyed that there were cars blocking driveways and sitting out in front. So to walk 30 or 40 feet from the parking lot to the field, to me, is not an unreasonable request. And if people can't police themselves, then maybe we need assistance from the town.
And that was part of the discussion when you asked kind of where we were, and that was part of the discussion last week about, what can we do to formalize, the parking regulations, and saying that, you will park here and not here. There's one thing to drop off. The other thing we talked about was opening up, a couple of the other entrances, as opposed to purely limiting, entrance and exit here, on Middle Road. So there's been a number, of
But just to
other
be
things that
clear,
have been.
The policy is just to amend the hours. Actually,
Right.
not even to amend the hours, there are no hours.
Right.
And Sally's correct when she said that this did start the weekend of that Westchester Youth Soccer Tournament. But from what I've heard from the neighbors, yes, that happened, but it was sort of the straw that broke the camel's back. The complaint from the residents is excessive use. So yes, while we need to address parking and enforcement from the police department, I think we should really just, at this point, just stick to the hours of the policy. When Jim's not here, and I hate to speak for him, but when he gave the permit, it was because in the policy, there are no times. So with Jim leaving, we just want to set the standard. We want to know what the policy is so that the new business official, the new athletic director, knows what the guidelines are. So that's what's on the table right now as far as the policy change. And what the policy does say is Saturdays at 10 o'clock and Sundays at 11 o'clock a start time, knowing that the teams will come earlier to get ready for the games.
Right.
So if you make the start time 9 o'clock, they're going to start coming at 8 o'clock. If you're going to, just
Right,
know.
and the policy is slated for adoption at the July 7th meeting.
Right.
So that's when it's scheduled for its third and final reading. But there were a couple of things that were brought up, and one of the questions that I had asked is that, are we limiting, this policy or this restriction solely to the Tuckahoe High School field, or are we also, going to address any concerns about Cottle Field, if there are any, and is this going to be restricted purely to, now you're shaking your head, no, you don't live down there, but maybe the people down there, might have an issue with, with an early start down there. And I don't think that the Cottle Field is used as often, as the Tuckahoe High School field. But again, those were things that we had brought up. But it is slated for July 7th, and what our hope is that more people will get input so that, we can move forward with that.
Okay, so I want to thank you for giving that report, but I do want to reiterate that this spring, it started at 9. There have been, it is team after team, after cars, from 9 o'clock to I think it's probably 5 on Sunday. It's excessive. Our community members are not here to say we're saying no to children. It's not about the children. It's about our quality of life. It's actually about our families' quality of life. I walk my dog every morning, and there are countless cars idling their cars where I've gotten to the point where I'm knocking on people's cars to say, turn your car off. So they're not listening to your rules. And in my opinion, I feel if you're not going to abide by the rules, then you can't have the use of the turf, because it's just the way it has to be. I mean, there has to be some rules. But, it's inaccurate to say it starts at 12. Yes, in the fall it starts at 12, but then you have to understand that we have football that starts before 12.
And that was going to be my question. So I'm hearing from your point of view with Eastchester soccer, but if our football kids are coming earlier in the fall, which there's probably 500 kids that, or how many kids are in that program, Daj,
150.
150?
That's really only 4 or 5 weeks of.
Right, so are those 150 kids going to have playing time during those 6 or 7 weeks?
Well, I mean, I think we need to come up with a compromise. We need to understand that there's
Oh, and
balance here.
I agree, Tara, and what I brought up is I just want to make sure that if we make a policy, because as a board, for all the community members, we represent the whole community, not, and if we're going to make a decision that affects other community members and their kids, I want to make sure that a policy we put in place doesn't hurt 4 or 5 weeks of our local kids being able to get on a football field to play football, because Eastchester Soccer now has it from a certain time, and then when is the football team going to be able to get out there?
Well, and this is a really important point, because to clarify all the players here, is it the Tuckahoe Tigers Youth Football that we're talking
Right.
about? They have it, just as you mentioned, starting, I believe, at 9 o'clock in the fall.
Right. And but the
So-
policy will prohibit them from doing that.
Well, exactly.
Right.
So, I mean, we have to be sure we understand that.
And
And if that's acceptable, I mean, the compromise, as you mentioned, has to be worked out.
And you guys weren't here, what I had suggested was, I'm not trying to kill this, believe me, I live in the community too, and the cars are driving by my house to get to your house on the weekend as well. I see the traffic as my kids are riding their bikes in the neighborhood,
You don't
but.
have the whistles
Oh, I know.
and the kids screaming at 8 o'clock in the
I
morning on a
agree.
Sunday because they're out on the field at 9.
8
It's
o'clock is
Sunday.
excessive.
It's
but-
Sunday.
But I just want to make sure if we're talking about 4 or 5 weeks of Tuckahoe kids, because it's predominantly Tuckahoe kids that play in these programs, then they don't have access to a field, then, that to me is a hard decision for me to make. So I just want to get, and what I'd asked last week is let's get a full understanding of what we need to be able to at least support the local kids programs. Because if we put this policy in place, then that might prohibit the football kids from using it for, like you said, 4 or 5 or 6 weeks, which would be bad. I mean,
Well,
it
we
wouldn't-
don't want to prohibit it, then we need to compromise with soccer.
Right.
We're not saying, no, football can't come because we want to start them at 9. Well, maybe they need to start at 10, which is a compromise, I would say, and then soccer gets it at 1.
And certainly
we
it may
have
be,
to-
and it may be easier to compromise if we were able to address the traffic issue, because it seems that that's, a big concern, and perhaps not as big as, coaches' whistles going off at 8 o'clock in the morning, but that certainly, makes it an exponential, burden, on you guys. So I think that there's still a number of things, maybe we could do it piecemeal, where we'll start off with one time, as soon as we explore, but,
So then what
we'll
is the
just keep.
timeline of when the policy
Well,
would-
I mean, it's, again, it's slated for adoption at the July 7th meeting.
But we don't have
I
time.
understand that.
Okay.
So that's, more,
Can I just say one, okay.
Good evening. When you talk about eating dinner, there's nobody on Middle Road is eating dinner without the soccer team or something. For the last 90 days, you don't eat dinner on Middle Road and not have somebody using that field. It's every night, every single night, all week long. Football don't start at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. It starts at 5 after 7. People got barbecue grills, stuff like that to bring over, porta potties, everything else. The way of life is, when you open up your door at 7 o'clock in the morning on Sunday, there's kids out there. There's people blocking the doors with their, every time. It's every day, 7 days a week. We're asking for some relief here. I mean, I understand the kids want to play, move the soccer back, start football a little bit later, but it's not 9 o'clock. It's closer to 7. And anybody who's playing football knows it's closer to 7. And that's very early on a Sunday morning. Thank you.
I don't know if I don't, know what I just came across as. I hope I came across as informative and trying to let everyone know that this is what has happened in the past, and whatever happens in the future, the town is happy to have a relationship with the school, all 3 school districts, and the reason why you can't play before 11 a.m. at Dunwoody is because something like this happened. Probably 15 years ago, I mean, I started working in Eastchester in 2002, so it was prior to me working there. I wasn't in the position to give out permits, but I did work in the office. So prior to 2002, something happened just similar to this, except that it was a town field as opposed to a school field, and a compromise was made. Then I went back to the community and said, would you prefer, could we move it up a little bit to 11? It'll get them out earlier. We made the compromise again, and that's where we are now. I think I'm more than happy, another day, another time, meeting with everyone, meeting with other people. If you have a meeting with the board and residents and the superintendent, whatever, I'm more than happy to work with this. I understand where everyone's coming from, not only being, as superintendent Parks and Recreation, and being that I live next to Eastchester High School, and I'm going to be an Eastchester School Board member, so I kind of see it, so I see it from every angle, and I'm really just want you to know that the town, we'd like to come to a compromise and have things work. So if I came across like very chatty and like defensive, we're hoping that we can make everything work. And, Tuckahoe Youth Football is a smaller organization. Eastchester Youth Soccer does play a longer amount of time. I worked the last 2 falls. We've worked very well together to make it work where soccer didn't bump into football. So maybe football might have ended at 12. Soccer would start at 1:30 just in case there was someone straggling or a game ran over, whatever it was. But, if like I said, if the policy's gonna come until that on Sundays, no one can go on till 11, and then in the fall for 4 weekends or 5 weekends, that Tuckahoe Youth Football can't start until 11, and then Eastchester Youth Soccer can't start till 3, they've now lost 6 hours, but we understand, like, everyone, we're trying to make it all work. So I just wanted to, like, say that I hope I didn't come across like I tend to talk a little fast. I hope I'm more informative.
I asked you if you could come, and I'm glad
Yeah,
you did. I
I'm
think you were
sorry.
I think you were very helpful, and I think the board is, wants to be responsive to our concerned neighbors. And you need to understand, when a board is passing a policy, its practice and legality requires at least 3 readings, and you don't take these things lightly. You don't want to pass a policy and then later get the complaints that you didn't pay attention or you didn't listen to the other sides of the issue. So that's all we're doing. I mean, frankly, as far as these things go, we're moving it along as fast as we can. It was just a month ago or a little bit more that we had everybody that came in and expressed concern. We've been talking with the committee, been talking with these groups. The board has been taking this very seriously. We'll be in a position come July to make some decisions, and that's consistent, and we very much appreciate your spirit of compromise, which I think is feasible within the limits of the territory that are there.
This Sunday's the last Sunday, and actually, Alvis County gave me a call in the beginning of June to ask that they didn't go on the field until a little bit later, so hopefully they've been adhering a little bit later than the 9 a.m. for the last 3 Sundays because they've had playoffs, so they were able to move some games around, so hopefully that's alleviated some of the situation, but again, if you guys would like to meet at another time, whatever you have, I'm more than happy to, and hopefully we can all work this out, because again, the town and the school, all 3 school districts, but the town and, Tuckahoe uses a lot of things that Eastchester has, and Eastchester uses a lot of stuff that Tuckahoe has, and without the cooperation together, we couldn't exist. Like, I couldn't have the Eastchester Instructional Basketball League. Tuckahoe could uses Parkway Oval, Leeward Tennis Courts, golf, like, it wouldn't work. So we, as long as we keep working together, I'd be happy, come to a conclusion, new board, old board, new superintendent, whatever it is, like, I'd be more than willing to help, so.
Great.
All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you, Sally. Sure.
I'm Andrew Tate, I live at 87 Middle Road. I just want to know what the policies at Eastchester High School. What's the policy there? I mean, does anybody know?
Yeah,
What is
yeah.
it?
So, right now they can go on the field at 9 a.m. That is the current policy. Eastchester High School's field, it is in a similar residential area. I actually live in the residential area of Eastchester High School. They do go on the field at 9 a.m.
Saturdays and Sundays?
Saturdays and Sundays, they do. The parking's a little bit different. Most of the road parking is a little bit different when you come down Lincoln. It's actually a lot different. It doesn't, you kind of can't park on both sides of the street, the way the parking is. So they haven't had, they're only, as a non-school board member I'm saying this, the only complaints that I've heard from being superintendent of Parks and Recreation and through the police department is amplification, because their field was down for 2 football seasons, so there was no announcing. Now that the field is back up, they do announce more, so it's, you don't have it for 2 years, and now you hear it more. Like, I hear it at my house, and I'm probably one of the further houses from it. So, they don't have a policy right now.
Okay.
I know they can start at 9 a.m. I could see if they
Okay.
have something that says you can't start.
I know at the high school over there, the homes aren't as close to the field
Correct.
as they are here. There are 22
No.
homes within earshot of this field.
Correct. And it's also, and I live in one, it's a lot of apartment complexes, so a lot of parking lots back, like, the parking lots are the thing that's closer to the field than the actual home.
Okay.
Or the actual apartment.
My thing is, the whistles in the morning, dogs start barking when they hear whistles, and then it just keeps on going, never ends.
I
So,
sympathize. I mean, I live
it's just,
3 blocks away, and I can hear the whistles, and I can hear the announcing.
It's,
so.
Imagine how we feel right
No,
now.
Tara, I know. I don't want to seem like I'm the bad guy with the local residents. I'm not. I sympathize with you tremendously, but I just want to make sure we don't penalize like a small group of kids.
There's
Oh, yeah.
no break. And the part about it being during the week, that's new. And I'm not saying that, we don't want the soccer teams to be out there during the week, but it is till 7:30
So-
on 3 nights a week.
So can I offer a suggestion, maybe instead of kind of like, I mean, I almost feel like we're in contract negotiations where I presented my side of the story, now next week you'll present your side. maybe it would be worth, our while to form a subcommittee, of the board and get some folks of the board members and, make sure that we have representation from, certainly Middle Road, but some of the other organizations, because I think that, there is a compromise, to be had. And, rather than saying that, based on what we heard today, we're going to come up with a policy that will be adopted, on July 7th, maybe there's an opportunity to have, a meeting, and you could probably knock it out in a day, in an evening, and just to,
I don't mean to interrupt, but there is room. The football team's been getting done earlier on Sundays, and there's a lull in the action between soccer and football.
well, yeah, I mean, one of the things I've noticed over the years is there's the schedule, what's supposed to happen, and then what actually does happen, and so I think that there's some issues there too. But I think that, instead of like taking the whole meeting to discuss this and just go back and forth, let's sit down with everybody in one place, hash this out, and, we'll see about the district, kind of taking a proactive role, and let's get a couple of dates on the calendar, and maybe we
Just
can
have
do
one
this.
more thing to say. With the more games, more litter. I walk around the block every day, and it's disgusting. I'm constantly picking up Gatorade bottles in front of my house, paper that blows, and I watch the custodian go up and down the block every morning. And the kids, it's between McDonald's and whatever pizza boxes, they throw right. There's no receptacles around the field. I don't
Well,
know if we can put a garbage pail out there.
Well, there's garbage pails there.
No,
but,
there's not. There's
members
not.
of.
There's
I mean,
one
there
over
are-
here.
I mean,
There's one garbage pail.
no, I'm just saying that there are some, but, members of the community don't respect the school grounds. I mean, I would be
I
horrified.
don't think it's the members of the community. I think
Well,
the
whether it's
kids.
Eastchester Youth Soccer or any other organization, whether it's the kids or the parents or anything like that, I would be horrified if I saw my kid drop a
Well, I've
bottle,
seen plenty of them drop stuff.
Well, what I'm saying is that,
I've gone after football games and picked up 40, 50 bottles of
It's
water on the
disgusting.
field. I mean,
But I think going back to, I think, Tara, you had mentioned something, is that there are rules that must be met in order to get that next field opportunity. And if you can't keep the field clean, then you don't belong here. So, but again, that's something that can be hashed out.
I think there's merit in what you suggest, Julio, would be to establish a task force, a committee, call it what you will, including the neighbors. And by the way, our new athletic director, who is the guy in the school who's going to administer all of this, he starts on July 1st, and I think he should be at the table, and there could be some productive work done in a smaller group that's representative.
Okay,
Thanks.
all right. Anybody else on agenda items? No? All right, so let's move on. All right,
Thank you.
oh, you're welcome.
Thank you, guys.
Oh, you're not gonna stay for the rest of the meeting? The rest of the stuff's the good stuff.
Go help my daughter.
You don't have a final tomorrow. Okay, let's move on with the meeting. I need a motion to approve the consent agenda, items 2 through 8. Do I have a motion?
We also have the town.
Oh, I'm sorry. I skipped over the town school dialogue on the use of Siwanoy Boulevard. Did we have an update on that?
Well, I actually got a call today from our Keenan Bean attorney. I know the board has gotten to know different members of the Keenan Bean group. Stephanie Byrne, in this case, is the one, not Stephanie Roebuck, whom you know, I think, a little bit better now, but Stephanie Byrne is handling this. And she did call me, as it happens, and to let me know that the town's lawyer and she have been in contact, and they're now exchanging materials, and said she will certainly keep us posted as things develop.
Okay. Michelle, I don't know if you had anything else
No,
to add?
that's it.
Okay. All right, now we're going to go to approve the consent agenda. I need a motion to approve consent agenda items 2 through 8. Do I have a motion? Stephen, second. Kathy, discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So moved. All right, we're now going to go on to the business of the board. Second reading of policies. These are not the field use policies, but this is a policy on online banking and also a revision of the policies on information security, breach, and notification. And if I'm not mistaken, the information security, breach, and notification is something that was noted by the state auditors that we needed to strengthen, and so we're revising that policy in order to meet that expectation. I'm not going to read through the policies, but they are available on board docs. This is the second reading, and in hopes of implementing those policies at the next July 7th meeting.
Julio, just real quick,
Yep.
for people watching on TV and those in the audience, I don't know if you're aware of this, but if you go on the Tuckahoe School, because we say it's on board docs, but I want to make sure people understand, because there's great information there. You go to tuckahoeschools.org, you click on the Board of Education, and then there is a link to the meetings and the minutes of the meetings. So you can read minutes from past meetings, as well as see what the agenda is for the current meeting. So when we say go on there and read it, because that's what the whole idea is behind these policy readings, so people understand exactly what we're looking to change or do.
Right.
So just
Yep.
want to make that clear, because I don't know if anybody knows that.
Great.
But everybody knows that, I should say.
Thank you, Steve. All right, number 2, whereas the Tuckahoe Union Free School District has been informed of a donation to be made to the Tuckahoe Modified Football Team, and whereas the district would like to accept such donation, it is hereby resolved that the district shall accept the donation from the Bob Santucci Scholarship in the amount of $1,000. Do I have a motion? Stephen, second. Kathy, discussion?
Real quick, Bob Santucci was a friend of mine who had incredible passion for kids. He coached alongside with me from my son from flag football on up through 5th grade. And this community is at a incredible loss without having Bob and his presence with our kids on a daily basis. This scholarship fund is greatly appreciated, and my thoughts are always with Lisa and the children of Bob. They're a great family, and I miss Bob every day.
Great, thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So moved.
Julio, can I just say a comment after, because it wasn't a discussion on it?
Oh, sure.
But I do want to say thank you to the Santucci family. My son also played football under him, and a gentleman who had a lot of passion for the children to teach them, and not just about football, but about living life and how important it is. So he is a gentleman who is a great loss for the Tuckahoe community, but I thank the family for keeping his spirit alive.
Great, thank you. All right, number 3, accept a donation, whereas the Tuckahoe Union Free School District has been informed of a donation to be made to the Evgen Memorial Scholarship at Tuckahoe High School, and whereas the district would like to accept such donation, it is hereby resolved that the district shall accept a donation from various donors in the amount of $250. Do I have a motion? Stephen, second. Kathy? Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So moved. Sorry, I have to fix my peripheral vision. I was
That's okay.
catching your... All right, number 4, resolved that the Tuckahoe Union Free School District Board of Education retain $1,276,507 of the 2015-2016 year-end fund balance as an unappropriated fund balance for 2016-17. Appropriate $559,893 of the 2015-2016 year-end fund balance to reduce taxes in the 2016-2017 budget and use any remaining funds to increase the district's approved reserves, tax certs, and employee benefits accrued liability. Do I have a motion? Michelle, second. Stephen, discussion? All in favor? All right. Opposed? So moved. Personnel. Should we take a break, or is this what everybody's here for? Okay. All right, resolved that the Board of Education, on recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, confer tenure upon Alexis Muska in the mathematics tenure area effective September 1st, 2016. Do I have a motion? Stephen, second. Kathy, discussion? Now, we've already heard about the accolades that our administrators have given to our tenure candidates. So I don't know if anybody wants to add anything else, or we can just move forward.
I just wanted to add that I just don't know that everyone knows the rigor of the tenure process, how seriously it is taken by our administrators and the Board of Education. It's been a learning process for the board. We take it very, very seriously. I applaud our administrators who have really been very disciplined about the way that they've handled it, and over the changes in the past few years of the review process and the scrutiny. So it just really goes to congratulate these candidates even more, because it's not an easy process, and it's really a credit to them that they've achieved this. So thank you.
Great. Okay. All right. Any further discussion? All right. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So moved. Congratulations. You can keep the flowers.
And congratulations to you.
Okay, resolved that the Board of Education, on the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, confer tenure upon Edie Reedy Fernandez in the music tenure area effective September 2nd, 2016. Do I have a motion? Michelle, Stephen, second. Michelle, discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So moved. Congratulations, Ms. Reedy Fernandez. Okay, number 4, resolve to increase the teaching load of Lucille Anzalone. Oh, wait, did I miss one? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I keep skipping. Sorry.
Number 3.
Sorry about that. All right, number 3, resolve that the Board of Education, for some reason, I want to get this meeting over quickly. I don't understand. Resolve that the Board of Education, on recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, confer tenure upon Diana Dedadian Castro in the elementary tenure area effective September 2nd, 2016. Do I have a motion? Kathy, second. Michelle, discussion?
I would like to just say a quick comment. Ms. Castro had my youngest child 2 years ago when she first started here, and I am a parent that is very cautious about new teachers. I went in and I spoke to her about my child and his learning, and I have to tell you, I am pleased, and I know that the rest of the board hopefully will say yes also, that you are part of our community. You have made such a great for my child, you know, he truly enjoyed being in your class 2 years ago, and I thank you.
All right. Any other discussion or comments? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So moved. Congratulations. Okay, I'm on number 4, right? Okay. Number 4, resolve to increase the teaching load of Lucille Anzalone by .07 FTE effective April 14, 2016 through June 30th, 2016 at a compensation as per the TTA contract. Do I have a motion? Stephen, second. Kathy, discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So moved. Number 5, resolve to appoint the following individuals at a rate of $60 per hour per the TTA contract for the period beginning July 1st, 2016 and ending August 19th, 2016 for the ESY program. Larissa Torres, speech. Elizabeth Leibel, special education teacher. Karen Pollock, special education teacher. Do I have a motion? Michelle, second. Kathy, discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So moved. Number 6, resolve to approve the individuals listed below as summer student workers to support the custodial staff at up to 4 hours per day for the period of July 5th through August 12th, 2016 at an hourly rate of $10. Do I have a motion? Kathy, I'm sorry, Michelle, second. Stephen, discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So moved.
I'm just going to abstain.
Oh, I'm sorry.
abstaining.
Oh, abstentions? 1 abstention. Okay, thank you. Number 7. Wow. Resolve to approve Deborah DiFrancesco for an additional 25 days at a rate of 1/200th of her annual salary not to exceed $18,000 for the 2016-2017 school year. Do I have a motion? Kathy, second. Stephen, discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So moved. Number 8, approve mentoring. Resolve to approve the following mentoring days for the 2016-2017 school year. Jim Reese and Lee Lu, 5 days at $500 per day, not to exceed $2,500. Al Visconti for Austin Goldberg, 2 days at $154.16 per day, not to exceed $308.52. Do I have a motion? Stephen, second. Kathy, discussion?
Thanks to Jim and Al for staying on a little bit longer in their retirement to help out these new employees. It's always helpful when we have people kind of help transition, so
Yeah.
thank you both.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor? All right. Opposed? So moved. Number 9, resolve to appoint the following stipends for the 2016-2017 school year. Rick Martin, District Webmaster, $2,751. Rick Martin, Tuckahoe High School Webmaster, $1,376. Rick Martin, Tuckahoe Middle School Webmaster, $1,376. Rick Martin, Cottle Webmaster, $1,376. Lauren Zagorski-Truhl, Communications Coordinator, $8,000. Peter Annunziata, Girls Varsity Tennis Coach, $3,851. Doreen Pinto, Athletic Secretary, $4,190. Lauren Nicolettos, Middle School Guidance Secretary, $2,837. Do I have a motion? Michelle, second. Stephen, discussion? All in favor? All right. Opposed? So moved. Number 10, resolve to approve the agreement between the Tuckahoe Union Free School District and Faith Sparks dated June 13th, 2016. Do I have a motion? No, Stephen? Second. Michelle? Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? So moved. Number 11, resolve to approve the agreement between the Tuckahoe Union Free School District and Lauren Zagorski-Truhl dated June 13th, 2016. Do I have a motion? Stephen, second. Kathy? Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So moved. Number 12, resolve to approve the leave of absence of Jessica Perillo from October 10th, 2016 through March 1st, 2017 in accordance with the Family Medical Leave Act. Do I have a motion? Stephen, second. Second? Michelle? Discussion? No? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So moved. Number 13, resolve to extend a leave of absence for Kristen Roper through June 30th, 2017 in accordance to the TTA contract. Do I have a motion? Michelle, second. Kathy, discussion? All in favor? Opposed? So moved. Number 14, resolved on recommendation of the superintendent of schools to appoint Lucille Anzalone to appoint 8 FTE temporary appointment in the area of speech at the Tuckahoe Middle High School effective September 1st, 2016 through June 30th, 2017 on Step 15 MA of the TTA salary schedule. Lucille holds speech and language permanent certification. Do I have a motion? Michelle, second. Kathy, discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So moved. Number 15, resolved on recommendation of the superintendent to appoint Andrew Culasano to a 4-year probationary appointment as a teacher of physical education and health in the physical education and health tenure areas commencing September 1st, 2016 and ending August 31st, 2020, contingent upon achievement of the effective or highly effective APPR ratings necessary to receive tenure throughout his probationary period, consistent with the requirements of education law sections 3012, 3012-C, and/or 3012-D on Step 2BA of the TTA salary schedule. Mr. Colasano holds initial and supplementary certifications in physical education and health. Do I have a motion? Michelle, second. Kathy, discussion?
Andrew is here.
I know. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So moved. Congratulations. Okay, number 16, resolved on recommendation of the superintendent to appoint Amanda Fuller to a 4-year probationary appointment as a teacher of special education in the special education tenure area commencing September 1st, 2016 and ending August 31st, 2020, contingent upon achievement of effective or highly effective APPR ratings necessary to receive tenure throughout her probationary period, consistent with the requirements of education law sections 3012, 3012-C, and/or 3012-D on Step 2 MA of the TTA salary schedule. Ms. Fuller holds an initial certification in student with disabilities, grades 7 through 12. Do I have a motion? Michelle, second. Stephen, discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So moved. Welcome aboard. Okay, number 17, resolved on recommendation of the superintendent to appoint Monica Geller to a 3-year probationary appointment as a teacher of Spanish in the language other than English 10-year area commencing September 1st, 2016 and ending August 31st, 2019, contingent upon achievement of effective or highly effective APPR ratings necessary to receive tenure throughout her probationary period consistent with the requirements of Education Law Sections 3012, 3012-C, and/or 3012-D on Step 7 MA of the TTA salary schedule. Ms. Geller holds a professional certification in Spanish 7 through 12. Do I have a motion? Michelle, second. Stephen, discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So moved. Welcome aboard. Is she here? No? Okay. Number 18, resolved on the recommendation of the superintendent of schools to appoint Jill Quartararo to a 10-month leave replacement as a special education teacher at William E. Cottle School effective September 1st, 2016 through June 30th, 2017, or sooner at the discretion of the Board of Education. On Step 8 MA of the TTA salary schedule, Jill holds special education permanent certification and N grade 6 permanent certification. Do I have a motion? Michelle, second. Kathy, discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So moved. I do see her there. Congratulations. Okay, next, accept a retirement. Resolved to accept the resignation of Denise Wachter for the purposes of retirement effective June 30th, 2016. Do I have a motion? Michelle, second. Kathy, discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So moved. Congratulations. We did have an opportunity to recognize her at board recognition, and we wish her all the best. Number 20, resolved to accept the resignation of Peter Carucci effective June 30th, 2016. Do I have a motion? Michelle, second. Stephen, discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So moved. Number 21, resolved to accept the resignation of Shane Murphy effective June 30th, 2016. Do I have a motion? Kath, second. Michelle, discussion?
Well, wait, before you make this, I know it has nothing to do with this, but this is the last time that you will be voting as a board member. And when I think about it, you've probably made thousands of decisions since you've been on this board, and Kathy, a few hundred at least. So those decisions will last in this school district for many years to come. So I just wanted to acknowledge this is your last vote.
Actually, I do have to ask for a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Oh, that's right.
So that will be my last vote.
This is why we're going to miss Julio.
Okay, so where were we? Oh, yeah, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? So moved. All right, we now have an opportunity to be recognized by the board. If you do have something that you'd like to say or a question that you'd like to ask, please come up to the podium and identify yourself.
Hi, Mike Ray, President of the Tuckahoe Teachers Association. Just a few quick things. First of all, I just want to say thank you to Kathy, to Julio, for all of your service to the district. It's been a pleasure working with you in various ways, and I just want to thank you. I also want to say first congratulations to Edie, to Diana, and to Alexis. Welcome to the club. And then just finally, just a quick congratulations publicly to the retirees, the 3 retirees, Denise Wachter, Marilee Besvinick, and Eileen McKegney. I want to congratulate them on their dedication, thank them for their dedication to Tuckahoe, to the students, and to the teaching profession. It's obviously going to be difficult to replace them, but we wish them all the best in their retirements. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, next item is Dr. Wilson's going to give his end-of-year report.
The end of your report, so you're free to scram or stick around for end-of-year report. Actually, it's not as painful as it sounds. Hope not, anyway.
You keep warning us.
I keep warning you, but it's actually good stuff. It's been a very, very productive year, part of the Board of Education. These were placed out on the shelf as you came in. There should be extras if you want your own copy and can follow along. Otherwise, I'll walk you through. So as far as where this comes from, you will see if you do have a document attached to it in the back, you will see the board goals that were established by the Board of Education last summer at their annual retreat. And this report fundamentally is a follow-up nearly a year later in terms of how they've done in making progress in these areas, and then plus some other general comments about the school district. So with respect to the Board of Education goals and priorities that were established last summer for the 2015-16 school year, here's a status report. Again, it was extremely busy and I thought productive year for the board. A primary goal of the board last year was to establish a new leadership team. It was known to the board at that time they did not have a superintendent that had been determined. I was brought in as the interim, as you know. They also knew that Jim Reese, who had been serving for a couple of years in an interim role in the business office, would not be able to stay beyond that. So they began the year knowing that they had two very difficult positions to fill, and that had to be given priority. And then they wanted to do that sooner than later to get a good choice of people. These are difficult positions to fill, and in addition to that, they were thinking in terms of maybe establishing some other positions, which they ended up doing. And then what they didn't realize that due to comings and goings, there were three other positions at the end they also had to fill. So this really, you might say, is something that turned into an opportunity to establish a new leadership team. And we went out, they made the decision, it was well considered. They determined that they would select Mr. Carl Albano, as you know, to become the long-term superintendent. He is a great choice for many reasons, as you know about. Loves the district, is familiar with the culture, is an excellent, brings his own vision and energy to the program. And with that decision made in the late fall, Carl then became the catalyst to go out and look to fill these other positions. And there's a significant effort to launch a search and a recruitment of the best business official that we could possibly find. And indeed, we got out there early and we're fortunate to get Mrs. Lee Liu, who is currently finishing up her role as treasurer of the Katona Lewisboro schools. She'll be joining us. And as a result of conversations that the board had and the recommendation coming certainly from me, and Carl had the vision that what we really needed here would be an athletic director, not strictly an athletic director, but someone who had a background in health education and physical education, and somebody who could give a K-12 perspective, as well as assuming the director position in terms of the entire athletic program. And again, we went out vigorously, conducted an extensive search, and I believe we're very fortunate to be bringing in this young man who has had experience in that job, Mr. Austin Goldberg, that has been introduced to the board previously, and you know all about. He really, I think, will add a lot, not only in terms of his skills, but in terms of the role, the newly created role that he will fill. Then, of course, we still had to go back, and the board had to go back and find, now that Carl was moving over to the superintendency, who was going to fill in his shoes as assistant superintendent. And of course, there was a search done, both outside the district and internal candidates were considered. And I think that an excellent choice was made. As you may know, of course, that's Dr. Ellen McDonald. And a lot of things we could say about Ellen. I think she's really perfect for this position, in as much as in Tuckahoe, we're a small district, and administrators have to wear many hats. And there aren't many people that have the versatility, frankly. You know, she's a music, technology, I don't know, math, a few other subjects I'm sure major, who will be able to do all the different things that this job requires, which is to oversee the curriculum and instruction and technology and also special education. I think if anyone is capable of dealing with so many different areas, that she'll be able to do it and do it well. Well, that's okay, but once we decide she's going to become that position, now you got to find a replacement for the middle school. So again, out into another search, and I'm happy to report that I've been told, and I'm looking forward to meeting the finalists later this week myself, that we had excellent choices, and some very promising candidates, and that's about to be determined who that will be. And then with the recent resignation tonight you know about, we'll be right out there to look for a new secondary assistant principal. So I think that the board had lived true to its pledge. They went out and got really great people in these new positions, and I think it's going to be a wonderful opportunity to establish a new leadership team for Tuckahoe, who will hopefully be here for a long time to provide the kind of stability and continuity that all effective schools really must have. With that said, another thing that was accomplished this year was the reactivation or the restoration of a teacher mentoring program, and that was another goal that the board had that came out as well in the strategic plan. A lot was done. The board set out to do a lot this year. The next area is in the area of facilities. And the school is getting up there in years. I guess it's an 80-year-old facility. There have been projects in the past, but there are a number of candidate projects that really need to be considered to be done going forward. To do this, there were a number of activities this year that were undertaken. There was a building conditions survey done early on that identified issues that have to be addressed. The demographic projections were revisited because of the fact that the school district seems to be growing faster than had been originally projected. And these studies will be used to inform future space and facilities decisions. An exploratory facilities committee was formed. It has over 20 people, representatives of the community from different walks of life and experience in architecture and school design and construction and a variety of other topics that are useful. And and they in turn helped to select an architect, a firm that has been going around doing some of their own investigation as to what are some important priorities that need to be considered as candidate projects in a possible capital bond coming up in the coming year. So the firm is completing that first phase of planning, and they will be expected to give a report both back to the committee and to the board and to the superintendent later this summer, early in the fall, so that can be a priority for the coming year. There was, with regard to the buildings, also a lot of attention paid to safety and security. It was made a priority, and for example, there was modification in surveillance equipment, installation of indoor panic buttons. There were a lot of drills this year in coordination with the police department. Security over at Caudle was bolstered. A number of other activities, including the updating of the New York State Emergency response plan was done. Then also in this area of, well, I'll leave it there and go on to collective bargaining. The district, unfortunately, it's not always the best way to do things, but it's just the way it happened. There were 3 major unions that their contracts came up to be negotiated this year. The district has approached this in a way that they really would like to get things done if possible. And in the case of the CSEA, that was a rollover contract, more or less, that has been settled. Since that time, the district negotiating committee has been engaged with the Teachers Association in their contract negotiation, and there have been some initial conversations from representatives of the board with the administrators. Really, it's very important to take negotiations seriously and to deal with it fairly, and we're hopeful that those negotiations will be ultimately successful. Financial management is another area, and it's an area of great concern these days because of the state cap and the limits to which one can increase the budget. And not only that, but of course over a period of years, it seems like we're not able to spend, we're within such constraints that you sometimes wonder how much longer we can continue doing that. But be that as it may, I think the district and I think the board went about it the right way. There was a budget committee. The committee was very successful in terms of ensuring transparency. The school budget, challenging though it was, was able at the same time to include some educational enhancements and yet fall within the tight cap. I should say that the budget was where in the past maybe we had some more funds than were needed in some of the budget lines. Those lines were tapped, and so that the expenditures this year more reflect the actual need of what has been budgeted. It is also a nice note that the community approved the budget by a voting a margin of nearly 3-1, and that certainly is a good indicator that a vote of confidence, I would say, in our school system. Another area of priority for the district has been the compliance with the various state mandates. Perhaps the chief among these, most famous at least, is the annual professional performance review, the so-called APPR. And most of you will know that districts have been required to renegotiate that document, and to do so, by the way, in consultation with the faculty. And the district administration and the teacher association leadership have been very much actively involved in that since the beginning of the year. There's a deadline that has to be met so that a new plan can be in place for the fall, or one, I should say, that at least is approved by the state. And I think the district has gone about this the right way. Both the teachers have, as well as the administration and the board, in that it's been used more than just as a compliance issue, since we have to do it anyway, the attitude has been, are there ways to modify our plan and to improve it in the coming year? And I think there will be some improvements in that in the one that is finally approved by the state. Another major objective is the strategic plan progress. Now finishing its third year, ever since it was implemented, the board has heard, as I understand it, I know for a fact it's true this year because I was here, but all along I understand that there's been monthly reports on strategic plan progress. And again, this year we did that with each of the 8 strands, one a month, except for the month we were working on the budget. That was done. And I think the plan is in really a good state. I should say that since I'm here, I've been working with the staff to update the plan, because although the current plan, now it's entering its 4th year, there's still value in that. We haven't thrown it all out at all, but there are some updates that were needed. So a draft of that will be presented to the board. I know before I leave this summer, maybe on their planning retreat, they could look at it, and at that time and following that time, it'll eventually be sent to the board for your approval. As I say, it's the old plan, but updated, so it's not like you're reinventing it at all, but I think it needs to be modified to reflect current needs going forward. And with that, you'll have a plan that will be very useful for the next 2 years. The board evaluation and improvement. When the board held its retreat last year, and I think this is a great thing that the board did, not just being content to pat themselves on their back or to not want to, sometimes people don't want to talk about how can we improve, but the attitude of this board was to reflect on what was working and what wasn't working for them. Just as one example, they were concerned about the communications between the board and the superintendent's office. So they thought that, and we talked candidly about maybe there would be ways to improve in that regard, because the board certainly wanted to be kept informed of what was going on and not be surprised by things and so forth. So that would be one example. There were other ways that they identified that they could improve. And I think that, I hope, well, we'll see at this next retreat. They'll have to reflect on how we did this year. Those of you who are leaving the board can maybe leave a note behind, fill out the survey or whatever. But I'm sure that they'll be looking to identify other ways to improve going forward. Communications. This year we did something I think I don't know about since the last time you did it anyway. That was a major community outreach as a way of better communicating with all the members of the school community. And that was very ambitious. I don't know, gosh, how many of those evenings we had with civic organizations, different parent groups, faculty, so many others that were involved. And that was also useful as a way of getting feedback. It was intended, as much as anything, to sort of give a report back to the school community about, now you know we've been working on the strategic plan, here's what we've accomplished. But more often than not, people would also want to tell us what they thought, and that was a good thing too, because some of that can now be reflected in the modified strategic plan that we need to do. So I thought that worked out pretty well, and there were other improvements in communications following up on the execution of the comprehensive communication plan that was developed in the original strategic plan. Student life we'd like to focus on a little bit, because that's what it's all about, how the students are doing and what the climate is for them, and are we giving them kind of school climate and environment where they can blossom and develop to their maximum academically and personally. So student life improvement was made a priority again this year. There were many improvements at Cottle. I could cite many of enrichment activities and the like. There were also in the middle and the high school, for example, that they added new recruitment affairs for clubs and other activities. There was an emphasis, and we've talked about this in the strategic plan and reports on promoting greater diversity. High school added an Olympics program. K-12 expanded the recognition programs in all the schools. And community service activities. We're so proud of the Habitat for Humanity that you know about. It's gotten a lot of attention, deservedly so. A new summer enrichment initiative is being worked on right now for students who come from disadvantaged backgrounds via a grant that we've been able to get. So these were all improvements in the quality of student life, along with, I would like to say, the college placement program, which has been an ongoing effort. I had the pleasure of speaking with the two high school counselors who have been doing such a good job as we notice students attending increasingly competitive colleges. The high school was also honored, as you know. This time I'm losing track of how many times. I think we're up to the fourth time year in a row. It's a dynasty we've got going here. Dynasty, as Dr. Lenahan, recognized by the state as a reward school, recipient for closing the achievement gap, which is one of the proudest things you can say that you've done. It is also noted that the various sports programs, we mentioned a few, advanced to state sectional playoffs, and the Tuckahoe students at all levels received a number of awards, also as we talked about upstairs for music and the arts. Technology has also, I thought, had a really banner year. The report that was given on that to the board as how the progress that was being made, it was memorable. And the board at the time it was given remarked that they were really quite impressed by the number of applications, new and expanding applications of technology in the classroom that were reported on. Of course, the successful Chromebook program, which has been ongoing for its second year now, was talked about, along with these various new applications in the classroom. I should also like to point out the Smart School Grant was written to address technology infrastructure needs. A technology committee, after talking about it I think it was in the first strategic plan, but it finally got organized and implemented this year. And then a long-range plan was established for the first time, which was also a recommendation of the strategic plan. The new peer tech teacher roles were implemented, and they have been highly successful. Tremendous impact that is going on there. And the faculty as a whole has been working to develop and improve their use of technology in daily instruction. That's evident anytime you go in to observe a classroom. I'm looking at one of the teachers out there. I saw that, Andrew, that's something you did, but it's true if you go into any classroom and you see the way it seamlessly is integrated into the lesson plan. At the end of last year, I'd like to also boast that the Tuckahoe schools received a Pioneer Award, which is given to, based on certain criteria of how technology is applied in the school by the RIC program, the Regional Information Center branch of BOCES, recognized no small accomplishment, and this is a further reflection on just how much the technology program has improved and continues to improve. I would also like to note that I neglected to mention in this report, not because it's not that you didn't do it, but because it wasn't one of your goals. Of course, when you're doing a report like this, you leave out tons of things. And it wasn't necessarily a goal at all that the board identified last year, but come to think of it, you did a lot of policy making this year, didn't you? We started off with policies for scoreboards, and we're talking about policies for fields, and we've done a lot of that. You've done a lot of that in between as well. Just to summarize, the Tuckahoe Board of Education should take pride in that it established an ambitious set of improvement goals this year and made significant progress in each of the areas as have been detailed in this report. Furthermore, the district has positioned itself to build on the accomplishments it made this year as it goes forward. The board intends to develop their plans this summer for next year at the retreat, which we still need to set a date on, and I'm sure that'll happen. They will be helped going forward by an excellent new superintendent who brings energy, new sense of vision going forward. He, along with the largely new leadership team, show great promise of enabling the district to continue to be not only a very fine school already, even better. I wish you and I wish the excellent faculty, which you have, and the staff, the parents, and the students, of course, continuing success. We thank you. I thank you for the opportunity to serve the district this past year in the role of interim superintendent. It's been a real pleasure to work with such a great school system.
Great, thank you, Charlie. So I did ask to reserve just a couple of minutes to make some final comments, if I may. The first one is going to be kind of an ask, of the board going forward. I think that we saw some real great successes due in part to conducting that needs assessment and then creating a strategic plan. Next year we're going to be entering year 4 of that 5-year plan. And I think that over the years we've seen how the demographics of our community has changed, and I want you to consider conducting another needs assessment perhaps at the end of next year, so that by the time year 5 of the strategic plan is over, we'll have a plan for the next 5 years. And I think, Carl, if I have any regrets about leaving the board, it's not having the opportunity to work closely, with you as you take on your new role of superintendent. If there's ever been a, trustee emeritus position, I'd gladly take it so that I can help with some of the programmatic stuff. I'm here to serve. The other thing, I just wanted to say thank you and how grateful I am for, all of the support and all of the opportunities I've had to work with you, Michelle, Henry, Stephen, Kathy, Mike Collins, Jim Lombardi, Pat Gallo, Sherry Rejo, James Oliverio, Tony Bonacore. I think that covers all of the folks that I've worked with over the years. And I just wanted to share a quote that someone had shared with me from Bill Moyers, and what he said was that public institutions are fragile contraptions, and their leaders are always vulnerable to the fashion of the times, the perils of politics, and the presumptuous judgments of the uninformed. It takes formidable skills, a resilient will, and deep tissues of character to leave a public institution stronger than when you came. And so I think that you all have possessed and do possess those skills. I think that our new trustees, Rob Seifer and Daj Porokovic, will bring to the table, and I think we can all be proud that we're leaving this public institution stronger than when we came. So with that, I'm going to ask Kathy to just come over here for a minute, and we're going to ask for a motion to adjourn the meeting, and I want you to help me hit the gavel for our last time here. So with that, Stephen, now I'm going to do my final vote, and I need a motion to adjourn the meeting. Do I have a motion? Stephen, second. Michelle, second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, so moved. So, meeting adjourned. Thank you, everybody.